So today we had very nice price movement today. GameStop went up almost 10%. Um, and today was the some sort of a final confirmation for me that based on what I'm tracking with the fractal that I found about a month ago or maybe 3 weeks ago, I have somewhere there. Um, and then yeah, I had some put options just to test it out if the fractal is going right. And then it dropped more, and then yeah, and I switched to call options, and which is I posted here as a proof. So this is my post here on February 5th, which is last Wednesday. So after I took profits from the put options on the GME last time, just to kind of test it myself. Just to, well, I wanted to test out the fractals if it was going, tracking the same fractals. So I made some gains. I had this put options here, have some gains because I noticed we might see. You want to say hi? I noticed that we might see this type of maybe price actions, and then it did, and then it did. So that's kind of we went through. I was continuously updating you guys about this fractals, and it seems to me that I wanted to see, I want to see all this confirmation. From E, F, G. We hit this bottom here last week. Now we had this upside here, right? So it's perfect confirmation for me. I'm really happy to see this one. So yeah, so this is the from my cell phone. So I'm tracking both AMC, GameStop, expect gap up on Monday. Yeah, so because I was seeing more up, downside, I did realize they're running fractals a little faster than I expected. And then yes, I was kind of seeing that, but interestingly, AMC was still forming this shape. They did this one time, and I want to see this second time, and then AMC go get the gap up. So I don't know. I thought AMC is gonna do a gap up, but it wasn't this type of thing. So I think AMC will still go through this kind of phase where they will do another, go up and down, like a 1-2, and then gap up, right? So I think AMC might have something here coming up soon. But yeah, it's tracking same fractals. But the funny thing is, as I mentioned before, for AMC, they didn't completely fill this gap here at $3, between $3 and $2.90. They didn't fill the gap. It's weird, but they didn't. And then and then people might say, is it really necessary to fill that gap, right? It might not, but in the past, there's sometimes they purposely, market maker purposely didn't fill the gap, and then they have this purpose to come down to fill this gap in the future, which might occur in April. So just continue watching those things. I do believe that market makers won't let you gains about couple $1,000, couple $1,000% from AMC like this. So I think because AMC is very different than GameStop, AMC just pop like that, and then they just go down like that. It's just extremely volatile than GameStop. So it's like a razor, like shoot up and just shoot down. So but market maker wants you, they don't want you to have that kind of thing. So they wanted to do their best to check out people running the same 2020 fractals, and AMC, I do believe that they're still going through this November 2020, and they're going through this kind of phase here, in my opinion. Not financial advice. So yeah, we did touch all this. Now we are going through here. I post this on January 28th, 2025. So let's see. So yesterday I said this is not a hype, but I wanted to kind of say this is a very cheap, and this is my call options I was building from March. After March earning, I have some options, and then after that they start to tank it down, and I noticed that it's very similar fractals to 2020. Because I was tracking that because I know that 2024, we were kind of going through that kind of, a starting of the bull cycle. So I did notice that, 2020 March earning, they were kind of going up a little bit. They pretend it's moving up, but they just short the fuck down, which was very similar to happen here. Just bring the price up and then short fuck down and then hit the bottom and then rally happen, right? So this run happened. So I was looking at the RSI also, same thing, going, the bottoms are slowly going up and then forming the wedge and then shooting the it started to rally. Kind of very similar thing happened in 2020 as well when you look at the RSI. So that's, I just wanted to talk about that, and then I was building my calls, and then the reason I post this one was, look at the price, right? The average price is at the time was 29 cents, okay? And then this one was about only 12 cents, and that was I had it GameStop for May 17, and then the other one is June 21st. So all I'm saying is I think the calls are extremely. I'm not saying it's like as a finance advisor, but all I'm saying is based on this experience that I have from last year May run. I personally, this call options, I don't think you can get the call option like this this cheap, but I think you can still get some sort of a price about this price, about 30 cents, and I think that's really cheap. And I think I think once this thing rally kicks in, I think this call options will be extremely like, I mean, it will be volatile, but like you profit, you'll make a lot of profit, I think, in my opinion. So I think this is just the beginning. So that's kind of what I want to say here. So let's kind of move on to what I saw here. So yeah, similar thing happened. This is like the last Friday. So let's take a look at what happened today. Okay. So this is 2024 May. So that's kind of what I've been tracking here. Okay. It's very I mean, it looks very short when you look at the April. And what happened, here went up, pull back down. At that time it was very fast. It only took about a couple, what is this? Like this, to create this fractals, it only took about 7 days. From this here to this, it only takes 8 days. And you might wonder, how the fuck this is so slow, right? But that's what they want to do. They want to accumulate more, and before they want to run a big time. Okay, so I did realize, so I was, because like I mentioned before, I was tracking both 2020 and 2024 May, right? And then I was wondering, I always kept wondering, what is the reason, what is the purpose behind why Roaring Kitty come back, right? Came back in April, May, right? When you think about it, I've been thinking about that. Why? There's always why. And I think one of the answer for me that at the time was, what? The reason he came back at the time was also to run that, it was a time to run, right? Like I showed you 2020 fractals, it was time for run. But the reason he came back, there must be a reason, because he wanted to create a fractals that can be potentially used in the future. Okay, that's kind of what I thought, right? So he came back, and it's not only him, right? He has a bunch of funds from a couple investors, and he used that fund to create a fractals, right? Maybe it's not, maybe only one. Maybe there might be other long forces behind him, and then maybe create a fractals, some sort of a, those kind of run, right? So I think there's a purposely, it was purposely build up, right? To use it for the future, which is in 2025 right now, in my opinion. So we had this kind of run for about, how many days was it? It was quite long, right? So we had this accumulation phase here, which looks very similar to here, okay? This only took about 7 days. This one takes about 80 fucking days. It's fucking crazy, right? I can't just believe how, they take so long, but maybe they need that much time, maybe they need that much time to run this thing big time, right? So everyone wants short squeeze, right? So maybe they need to accumulate more shares, so when you look at the RSI here, even the RSI is showing also very similar thing, it go up and down like 3 times, go up and down like 3 times. So I think that's kind of where the fractals was, and then it takes about almost 10 times than this one. After that, let's take a look at what happened at this one. From here, there was a rally and there was a pullback, right? So I think that the pullback is done. That's 105 days, but this one only took about 8 days until this final pullback phase, and which is almost almost like more than 10 times, I think, when you calculate the amount. 1 second. So it takes about 105 days, okay? 105 days divided by how many days? 8 days. So it's like 13. So to create this fractals here, it takes 13 times slower than this one, okay? So now we saw a pop today, right? Which what happened here. Now you're seeing what I'm seeing here, right? And I'm not here to really encourage everybody to, like, get in this play. This is really just my opinion, and it might not run like this, okay? So don't look at this as this is gonna be the right, the masterpiece. This is like a final, the fractals. The fractal might are modified by a market maker, right? So that's just some sort of a warning. I just want to pass it on to you guys. So now we saw this top here. They pushed this thing up. RSI level is 63 level, which now RSI level is about 62 or 63. So I think we are almost at the top right now. So in order for me to hedge, I bought some put options because I know this thing will drop again, right? Because we might see this type of a wave here, in my opinion. I'm not saying we're gonna see a same type of movement, but I do see that because it was rapid movement, we could see some pullback. They left some gap here at $26.80. I do believe that they're not gonna fill this giant gap they gap up, but they might fill this $26.80 gap here, right? So that's kind of my opinion. And also they also have a gap at $27.84, very small gap. We could see a gap fill by morning tomorrow possibly, and then maybe we might come down. So because after that there's no gap, okay? And then the next gap is this one, $30 and $32. This $30 might not fill this time, might not be filled this time. It might be more likely fill when this thing starts to rally. So I do expect some pullback. So let's see. I might be wrong. Maybe they might mimic some of the not mimic, sorry, they might change the fractals, but I do see there's a certain when you go to the 2 hours, RSI is already all-time high, so there will be some pullback in my opinion. So I think now we see a final confirmation that this thing hit the bottom, and now we need to see this go up and down 3 times. Once this thing hit the 3 times, I think this gonna start rally. I pointed out February 21st might be the final a bottom before this GameStop will start to kicks in for rally. The interesting point out, somebody mentioned this one. So this guy mentioned that I think he posts a lot of cool stuff. Mr. No said we are going to $38 and $40 this week, in my opinion. I appreciate your opinions, but yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, we're not gonna see a $40 because yeah, it's not the time yet. In my opinion, I might be wrong, but this is tracking very similar to May run, so pre-May run. So, I do believe that there's a reason why Roaring Kitty came back in April and May to create these fractals and reuse these fractals this cycle. So I might be wrong, maybe you might be right, but all I'm saying is they cannot just go to $40 like crypto coins or crypto shit coins, okay? They're gonna do a test, right? They have to go up and they're gonna retest certain level, and then they're gonna let it run, okay? So let's look at the this guy, Quantum guy. So he shared something here interestingly. He said MOAS is in 18 days. February 24th, that's what Anon said when RRP is drained to 0. RRP means it's a reverse repo. It has been going down, I think since, I don't know how many, like last year or something like that. Like that, there's some guy post this about reverse repo, and then the basically the Fed, they're start to dumping. Oh yeah, there you go, this one. So it picked all-time high 2023 January here, and then this did start to dumping. So yeah, so they're basically like US is borrowing so much debt to fund deficits, spending that RRP reverse repo has been depleted for almost 1386 days. So basically that means there's no liquidity, so they need to do something about the market, right? So I think they're gonna let it run. It's I think it's related to the whole the meme basket squeeze and stuff. So once this is kind of depleted, which this guy Anon said within 18 days, and he posted this one in February 6th, last week, Thursday. So Feb 24th is the day that he see a MOAS, but I do see more like a rally here. So when I look at my fractals, it start from, yes, maybe somewhere between February 24th, February 25th, in my opinion, and this thing start to kick in. So yeah, it's very interesting. Some of the guy who look at this more like a different perspective. I look at it as a fractal level, but some guy look at this as a reverse repo, those kind of data level, and then it kind of matches the date, the when this thing's gonna rally, because a lot of things are not only just I think Steve Jobs or some guy talks about you connect the dots, right? If you connect the dots, it will merge together. It's the same thing. I look at the more technical level. Of course, I look at the market cycle, I look at other stuff, but when I look at my fractals and I look at the other datas and then try to match those things, and interestingly, it just perfectly match. So yeah, I do believe that the end of Feb is the when this thing GameStop will start to kick in and for rally. So I do believe that somewhere between 24th, 25th is the day that GME will start to run. I think about from today to 24th. Today to 24th or 21st. So for about 10 days, or you could say 2 weeks, this will be, I think, my I would say not financial advice, but I think this will be the final opportunity to buy the dip. Okay, based on my fractals, based on the data, so it's really up to you guys, whatever you want to do, but that's just, I will just throw it out there. This guy named Dr. Eyeball, he also posts some of the interesting stuff that kind of makes sense to my my thesis, my fractals here. So he's saying that something important happened on September 20 last year. Roaring Kitty don't play any more tweets, and later tweet filing suggests he bought more GameStop shares. 35 days later, and then you add another T plus 2 trading days, they'll bring you to October 28th. And really nothing happens, I think, at that time. So, and then you add another 35 days calendar days, and you add another T plus 2 or 3 trading days, and they'll give you a December 5th and time tweet happen and halt. Then also give me tweets around T plus 69 from the same time frame, I guess, is September 20, when Roaring Kitty posts about those I don't want to play anymore tweets. So he's kind of tracking all those Roaring Kitty tweets and add those the timeline here, and it's interestingly kind of match up here. You add another 35 days and T plus 2 trading days also. That will bring you to a January 14. Then you're waiting for the tweet, and then waiting tweet happen, and after it didn't really happen. So basically, there was a dog, tweets. He's waiting in front of the restaurant, so that thing dropped. But in terms of the price, really nothing happened here. And then you add another 35 days from the January 14. And then also add another T plus 2 trading days. They'll bring you to a February 20, which start another May type of a run. So it's very interesting the way everyone has different ideas here. Everyone look at different data. Some guy look at the reverse repo data. This guy look at this Roaring Kitty and the timeline, and then adding those 35 days calendar, which is the FTD cycles. So basically, market maker, they don't. They're basically just they're supposed to, I think, cover their short positions maybe, or after that those FTD cycle, right? The FTD cycle is like after T plus 35 or something like that. But they don't really do that, right? They abuse this kind of stuff, so they just continue to delay those things. But so I think it's really between the market makers. Do market maker want to do that, or do the long forces want to make this run big time, so that they need more time to accumulate? You know what I mean? And then the final short squeeze phase, in my opinion, the way I look at it is between May or June. Okay, if it is delayed, it will be somewhere in July. So those time frame is extremely important for me to look at. May, June, July is the month that we have to look at, because that's when the January type of squeeze. What I'm saying is that January is the 2021 January type of squeeze phase. Okay, based on AMC fractals, based on what GameStop is doing, it's perfectly heading into June. Okay, but also you gotta be careful especially if you play options here. Okay, if you play options here, if you buy May, if you buy June, whether you buy July, it's up to you. But it's really important to say that you might have more gains if you have certain month, right? So if you want to get the pick, either you want to get you want to just take profits when it hit maybe in the halfway, you know what I mean? And some people talks about that. Some of the investors said you want to just take some profits on your shoulder, right? You don't want to go all the way to the head, right? So it's really up to you how ambitious you are, or how risky you want to play, or how safe you want to play. It really depends on the personality or the individual, but yeah, based on what I'm tracking, we're gonna have nice March run. And I did post it on the Super Stonk. I really didn't have any likes, unfortunately. I was very surprised by this reactions from Super Stonk, because I'm basically giving them I'm not saying this is like something that they should pay attention to, but I did mention, hey, there's some data, there's something I'm tracking, blah blah blah. I have 0 likes. Usually I get at least 100 likes. But it's very interesting that Super Stonk doesn't really like to react on this one. So very sad to see the Super Stonk's reaction. But there you go. It's going to, it's basically tracking the same way that I was actually visioning. So I'm glad to see that today. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Well, what was it? Yeah, some people talks about this one. I did like this thing. It's very interesting why why Aaron Quinn take a picture with the MicroStrategy CEO, founder. Interestingly, Edwin posted this one last year, 2023, so a couple years ago, before so CERN transfer made before filing bankruptcy. So before BBBY filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they did use the service from MicroStrategy. So I don't know why they did that, right? So they spent about what, 500K, but they basically moved the money to them. So why, right? And what's the connection here? I don't know. I personally don't know what's the meaning behind this, but that's something very interesting because Bed Bath Beyond is something I think our RC is working on. And then I do believe that there's a reason why he met this guy. There's a reason why Bed Bath Beyond they use this MicroStrategy for their services and then transferred money. I don't know. There's some weird connection here and there, so that's very interesting. So something I wanted to share with you guys. So this one I've been getting 100 likes. That's crazy. I never got 900 likes. Sorry, that's crazy. So people like this kind of post. Thank you. So this is not my post, but it's Leroy Jenkins. He's posting a lot of cool stuff. So Donald Trump said the fraud found in U.S. Treasuries, where Citadel is heavily involved in through hedge fund and liquidity provider, separate from market making and business of Citadel. So Citadel is basically their 40% of market making is in U.S., right? They're doing that, but and 10% is from Virtue, I think, or 5%. But basically they're saying that Trump, I think it's very interesting because Bed Bath Beyond is also going through the not only just Chapter 11, but if you don't follow the BBBY stuff, Ryan Cohen also brought two law firms, or I think three or two law firms that specialize in fraud, okay, and white collar crime. So I was always wondering why, you know what I mean? So this I wanted to share it with you guys because maybe this might not be interesting if you guys don't have a Bed Bath Beyond shares, but I think it will be all connected at the end, okay? In my opinion, at least. So in 2023 June, this is the docket from Bed Bath Beyond, okay? So what's interesting is that this law firm, which called Vincent Elkins, and also Petrio, Klein and Boxer LLP. These two law firm is especially the one that RC brought, right? And then when you look at the name Clifford Thaw, so this guys was working on the Bernie Madoff case, okay? Well, stop. So this is the guy, right? So this is the Petrio Elkins, Petrio Claims and Boxer. So white collar crimes investigation. So they're doing that kind of stuff, okay? And that's what RC brought, right? That they represent RC. And when you look at this one, this is another one, Cliff Thaw, right? So he's the one represent for RC. And then when you look at this, he successfully represent the broker-dealer against the fraud claims brought by SEC in Bernie Madoff scandal related to litigation. So he's a big guy, he's big deal, right? So he's on board with BBBY, working on a fraud, okay? When you look at Donald Trump, he's working on a fraud, right? He said, there's a fraud, So I think he's not only just kicking out those gangsters, or I've seen a video on X that now the New York City is like clean, like they clean out the all the the gang members or all those drug dealers, all those guys, right? So the city is getting safer, maybe, and we are seeing the changes in a good way. So now we look at not only just the city environment wise, but now he's trying to clean up the some dirt on this Wall Street, right? And yeah, there you go. He's there's a fraud involved in Bed Bath Beyond, and then it's all kind of connected. And I'm really curious what they're gonna find in the the this BBBY, the fraud, and also how big it's gonna be, how big is the settlement's gonna be, and then I'm curious how the U.S. Treasuries the fraud is gonna be, and I'm wondering how big is that be as well, and then who's involved. I think Citadel possibly involved there, right? So yeah, what could happen? I have no idea, but I think it will slowly reveal itself this year, in my opinion. Bed Bath Beyond on Wall Simple says it says value pending, so something's happening here. So yeah, guys, so that's pretty much it for today. So it's been a while that I post this I share this kind of stuff, but now I'm seeing more confirmation here and there, so I'm very happy to see finally. And then yeah, I'll continue to update as I move forward. So thanks for stopping by, and then have a good night, and then I'll see you guys next time.